Nothing like a good cup of coffee in the morning when you couldn't sleep that much the night before the league announcement trailer. Oh my God, am I excited for this. GGG, at the very least, even if you don't like the leagues, their league announcement days are insanely fun, and I am really, really excited for it. After the video yesterday, definitely check that out if you want to see what my thoughts were on what I'm looking for a good league starter. We spent another day testing out the remaining possibilities that we think might be really, really good. And I just wanted to go over kind of like the checklist of things that look good to me right now, things to look out for as we're seeing the league announcement trailer. Depending on what the actual league mechanics are, we might be looking at something that's possibly like a Blight League, right? Where standing still, you want like a true AFK build where you're sitting there like eating pizza and a donut, watching Netflix, and your zombies are just killing all the monsters, you know? That is a totally valid way to play the game. So it's really important to pay attention to what the league mechanic itself might be looking like as we start to narrow our funnel down for the potential builds that we think are going to be strongest coming this league. Also, in the back of our heads, remember there's probably going to be new endgame bosses, stuff like that. Probably want to build that can at least within a few days of the league be bossing viable. So we're going to keep that in mind as well. So let's get into the different builds that I'm thinking are looking really, really strong right now. There's nothing wacky or out of control right here. This is just digesting what we know is really, really strong from 3.15 into 3.16 and what we think for the potential of what's going to be coming up and becoming stronger in 3.17. So we spent another day on stream yesterday looking at the remainder of the skills that were announced to be buffed and just really put them through their paces. What it really comes down to is looking at the things that are maybe okay right now, comparing them into what they're going to look like in 3.17. We have a rough idea of what the numbers are going to be changing, 30 to 50% increased cast speed. And, we can just say double damage, right? If we get double the damage that we have right now, 30 to 50% increased cast speed, is that enough to make the skill feel good and be good? What you see in the background is I actually have an elementalist that is a shell of something that I might be considering playing if I do a hand casting build. And this is kind of going back to one of my favorite old builds in the past. If you ever played Triple Herald Blade Vortex back in the day, it was one of the most satisfying, fun builds to play in the game. Early on in the game in like Incursion League or something like that. It just feels really, really good. You got your Herald of Thunder popping down, and then you got Herald of Ash and Herald of Ice that are just propagating really attractive explosions. What you see in the background right now is me playing Arc, and it's just a good time. Arc is one of my favorite skills. If you've ever played Enki's Arc Witch, that is like the traditional, hey, I'm new to Path of Exile. What is a good, approachable, fun build that I can play? And this is me putting Arc through its paces. It's one of my favorite skills in the game, especially with a chain support gem. It can really propagate and blow up the entire screen and feel really, really good. This is also an elemental with Shaper of Flames that has Ignite proliferation support and all that. So it's a really, really nice propagating, fun to play skill. Similarly, I was able to take the shell and drop in all of the other spells, basically. I tried Rolling Magma, I tried Firestorm, I tried Incinerate, I did everything. At the end of the day, the thing that you have to ask yourself is, even if I was doing double or triple the damage, would this feel good? I had a 6 link and I put in faster casting support. I was really testing these things out, and really like many of those skills there, I really encourage people to put them through their paces. Don't get too excited about something that mechanically doesn't really click with you. The two standouts for me are specifically Fireball and Arc. I have nostalgic feelings about those two skills. They are some of my favorite skills from the past, and I would love to revisit them as, hey, can these feel good again? Answer to the question is, for me, will these feel good with double or triple damage and better cast speed? I'm not sure. I'm not fully convinced. I said this in the video yesterday as well. I'm not fully convinced that is enough to really make it feel better. These skills are cool. We have these nostalgic feelings about them, but there are just things in the game right now that feel better in a lot of ways. And, maybe we're bringing up the floor of what some of these things feels like, but I feel like a lot of them are so out of band right now for just being a meta, super, super awesome skill that I'm not 100% convinced that this is really what it's going to take. So going into the league announcement, which is going to be in about 2 hours from time of recording, definitely twitch.tv/subtractem. There will be drops. You can get the Wasteland wings. They are a fun set of wings, and I like to wear them all the time. You know, a lot of these skills look really, really cool. Firestorm, one of the most attractive, cool looking skills in the game, but it has some fundamental issues. I actually was demonstrating this on stream, is I showed when I would press the key on the keyboard for casting Firestorm and how long it took for the fireball to actually hit the monsters. And there are some like mechanical issues where Firestorm is really just like a cast on damage taken thing right now. And even if you buff the damage, even if you make the self-cast time better, it doesn't fix the fundamental issue of I press button and it takes almost a second for the monster to actually take damage. And that is just how you die in Path of Exile. As before, I always encourage you to take a look at these current skills and what they feel like. Really use your heart and your mind to find the right combination of what you want to play and what you think is going to be strong and make you happy, you know, for your League starter especially. So here is my final list of things that are looking really, really strong and kind of what I'm looking out for changes in the League announcement that maybe, hey, this is getting nerfed, this is getting buffed. Really keep these in the back of your mind as you watch that announcement trailer and see if anything that they talk about is really going to touch any of these builds. Detonate Dead is still looking really, really strong. It is so broken right now. We've seen Ventura and Lighty kill things with white and blue gear, you know, killing all the endgame bosses. It's absolutely insane. The only thing that's changing so far from the manifesto, they're going to change the frequency of the specters showing up the desecrate pool. It's not a big deal. If anything, it's going to make the on-hit damage a little bit more reliable as you're playing the build. So unless anything really big changes there, Detonate Dead Necromancer especially, but you can play it on any Ascendancy, is just looking really, really good. Caustic Arrow, Toxic Rain, and any combination with Ballista, putting in Death's Oath a little bit later, especially if you're doing an Occultist version. It's been good since Delve League. I'm biased, but my Bane Occultist, I super, super love it. And I do objectively, no human being can truly speak objectively, but as objective as I can, I do think it's an incredibly strong build that can do the vast majority of the content in the game for a very low investment and especially scaling off a League start. And I've made a couple tweaks to it. Definitely watch out for my 317 Bane Occultist League starter video and POB. I have found ways to sneak in even more defense, you know, especially determination, to make it feel even better and even tankier, and I think it'll be more approachable for beginners. So I can't wait to share that with you all. And then we have what I like to call the Power 4 League starters. These are archetypes that are always some of the best things to League start because they scale so smoothly. Traps, Mines, Totems, Minions. As long as you're playing a good trap that is known to be good, Seismic especially, but you can also play Ice Trap, you can play Explosive Trap is looking really, really good. Palstrin did some pretty cool tests with that. Traps are just always good. Can't go wrong with them. Mines are just always really, really good. Can go into Icicle Mine, Pyroclast Mine. Could even do Toxic Rain Mines or something. Kind of mix and match and put it all together. That's kind of a fun thing that some people do. And then Minions, you start off with your skeletons. You start off with your zombies. You can honestly just take those all the way to Act 10. You could transition into Golems if you want to, but Golems are kind of in a weird place. I'm not sure I hard recommend those right now. And if you are a super specialist, you can go into Spectres, stuff like that. Everything about Minions is just really good, asynchronous. You can focus on dodging, focus on bone offering, and just be really, really tanky. And you can't go wrong with Minions, especially on a Necromancer or a Guardian, really. Poisonous Concoction is just really, really nice to play. If you haven't played it yet, it is one of the strongest, smoothest leveling skills in the game right now. The single target does start to lack as you get into red maps. That's why I kind of lean towards the Pathfinder version, honestly, more than the Occultist version. The Occultist has better clear, Profane Bloom pops, double cursing, all of that off the bat is really, really nice. But it's also really just an engine for Plague Bearer. So make sure that you like that playstyle and you test it out. But incredible low gear requirement League starter. Bleed Gladiator, we saw a ton of people playing this, especially in the hardcore solo self-found races last month. Tornado Shot or Kinetic Blast, using it as an engine for Corrupting Fever. In terms of clear, bleed pops are one of the best feeling things in the game. So definitely leave that on the table if you're interested. Spectral Helix, honestly, I've really, really warmed up to it. This is a little bit of a funky skill. Unfortunately, it's one of those skills that it feels 10 times better if you have the MTX. It just really, really does. That Celestial MTX lets you actually see the spirals, lets you kind of grok how the skill's really working, and you can adjust your play style to understand how you can rotate your character and get multiple hits per Spectral Helix that you throw out. You can play whatever flavor that you want, really. Pick your poison. Or you can play Impale or Elemental. If I played this, I would probably play some sort of cold conversion one on a Raider and look into Frenzy Charge and Ice Bite and all that type of stuff. I just really like that playstyle. I like the defensive layers of chill and freeze and all that. Speaking of which, I'll move this up here because it's in the same flavor. As Jungron said in his video yesterday, if you haven't seen it, he did put out a really nice build guide about a Nightblade Poison Special Helix Assassin, and it's really, really good. I can attest to this because I actually abused Nightblade as well in the races last month. Nightblade is absolutely insane. I actually agree 100% with Jungron. It is one of those things in the game that is... It is one of those things in the game that's just silly. If you don't know, Nightblade gives you elusive, and based on the elusive effect, it gives you crit multi, and you just scale your elusive effect. You both get offense and defense out of it. Enough elusive effect, you can get multiple hundreds of crit multi for a single support gem. It's absolutely broken and ridiculous. If they don't do anything with Nightblade, you're basically in the money, a ridiculously strong league starter. So after seeing that video, I was like, oh yeah, yep, that's what we did last month. And he's doing it with Poison on Assassin, and totally makes sense. If you like a really relaxed playstyle, RF Inquisitor. Can't go wrong with this. Really good in solo self-found hardcore, and requires very few buttons and very, very little gear. Highly, highly recommend this if you just like that smooth, nice play style. I played this in Endless Heist, and it was just really, really nice. I did a little bit of a tech there to make it feel even better. Sneak and Infernal Cry, you get really big explosions as well. Think about that if you're going to put together this build. I have my own version of Cold Dot that I'm going to make a guide for a potential league starter that actually uses Creeping Frost and goes over to the right side of the tree, maximizes spell suppression. You can basically think of it as my Bane Occultist, but looking at through the lens of playing it as Cold Dot, it has a lower damage ceiling than Bane, but it is very, very, very tanky. It goes all in on the defenses. If you want to play something that maybe caps out at around 3 to 4 million DPS at good investment, but is basically unkillable, this will be the build for you. So be on the lookout for that. I know that there are people working on this. There are people that are loving this. It's looking really, really good. Honestly, multiple things with Explosive Arrow are looking really good. Anything around Bleed especially, there's a lot of people sleeping on that, and Ignite. This is going to be a really, really cool thing that I would keep your eye out. Play test it, try the things out, see if you like that play style, but I think it's going to be pretty insane. I think Crouching Tuna and Pelstrin are both playing this right now, and it's looking really, really awesome. As I keep harping on the hand casting and bow skills, I'm honestly, the jury's out for me. The jury's out for me. I'm excited for the changes. These are two archetypes that really speak to me. I'm a bow stan. I'm all about that. I like my big bows. I like exploding the whole screen. I like running fast. Are these changes enough? Yeah, as someone who loves bows and has been burned by, the bow leagues multiple times at this point, just not sure if GGG has been able to solve that, especially that single target at the low to medium investment levels. It really takes very, very high investment for single target to feel good on bows right now. And especially with the Hydrosphere nerf and all of that, that's kind of what we rely on to even get decent single target. Maybe even Asneth's Chance a little bit harder to get because the prophecy changes. Crossing my fingers for this, but, I'm not holding my breath. And then the hand casting stuff, who knows? Double damage and 30 to 50% increased cast speed. That alone is not enough to convince me to say, yeah, just play self-cast Arc and you're going to feel good killing the Feared, right? Like, I just can't say that out loud, especially after my testing and have conviction behind it. So during the league announcement trailer, look for interesting new support gems, things like Intensify, Pinpoint Support, Unleash, something that gives us some utility to really scale single target, perhaps in an interesting way. Clearing maps and all that, almost every skill in the game, even something memey like Lightning Tendrils or Incinerate or some, kind of bad channeling skill, everything can clear white and blue mobs all day, right? No big deal. Killing the map bosses, killing actual bosses, Cirrus and Maven, that required, that's way, way, way harder than just clearing maps. And, these days people expect being able to do that. People kind of expect being able to do, at least wave 20 simulacrum, at least 15 to 20 minimum for a decent league starter, at least once you get scaled up a little bit. And I just don't, from what we've seen, I'm not sure. Keep your eyes and ears open. Really look closely at what they're showing in that league announcement trailer. And don't let the hype train and the marketing override your logic and your critical thinking. I woke them up just for you guys. Thanks for watching. I'm really excited for this league start. We had to get the mandatory Zeus shot in the at the end of the video. Thanks for all the subscriptions and the follows and the nice comments. You guys have been absolutely spectacular. All the people that have been joining the Discord and really ramping up the conversation and all the build discussion stuff, that's been incredibly exciting. And I can't wait to have a spectacular 3.17 with you, and especially that league start trailer that we're going to watch on Twitch in just a couple hours. So thank you once again, everybody, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Goodbye.